Alright, I calmed down for the most part, so I will do various thoughts video later this month. Talk about a number of things, including Asian Americans. So let me get the video game topic out the way. First off is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I did play the very first game from the NES, which is Nintendo Entertainment System. It was very hard, and I never beaten it. And everybody hated the water level. Trust me, I hated it too. You're not alone. The second game, the arcade game, which is Turtles 2, that was a game I wanted to beat so bad. I got to the Technodrome several times. I've beaten the Krang several times. But when it came to Shredder, Shredder be like, nah, son, I'm going to hit you with that lightning. You're going to start from scratch. Start the game from all the way from the beginning. You got to work your way up. Step your game up, player. I mean, this game would just kick your butt, especially the Technodrome. I mean, Shredder just don't fight fair, man. It's crazy. That was when Konami was actually pretty damn good at video games. So, I'm not going to get into other issues with them, so leave that alone. Sadly, I never played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project from the NES. I never did. That's a game I always wanted to play, but I never got a chance to play it. The Game Boy, I did play the first two, Fall of Foot Clan and Back from the Sewers. It was phenomenal, and I will always cherish those games. And what else? Super Nintendo, Turtles in Time. It was about as close to being a 1989 arcade game as you're going to get, but it was 2-player co-op instead of 4-player. And I beat that game. I lost count. The last time I touched that game was when my little brother and I went to a local Comic-Con years ago, and we saw the arcade. Well, it was the 1989 arcade, but not Turtles in Time. There are two different versions of the Turtles in Time. One Super Nintendo and the other arcade. I wouldn't mind playing the arcade version of it. I wouldn't. That would be really awesome. I know it's the same, but I would like to see how it plays versus, home console. I love the music, love everything about that game. Love it. But when you get to Shredder, the final showdown, the transformation of the Shredder, going from normal to Super Shredder, trying to beat the crap out of you. The ice didn't bother me. The fire didn't bother me. But when that green aura around him comes up, that's when you get out of the way, because that's where he'll turn you into a baby turtle and you'll lose a life. And that's where I had that flashback. I'm like, oh no, not this again. Not the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game happening. Please, I don't want that nightmare. Please, I don't want that life. I don't want to relive it again. I mean, I was just like, oh no, you ain't getting me this time, Shredder. I'm going to get you. And I beat it, and it felt good. My little brother played it too, and it felt good. And he beat that game too. So. And the most underrated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game I've ever played was Tournament Fighters. They had different versions. They had the regular Nintendo. They had the Sega Genesis. I didn't play those two, but I did play the Super Nintendo version. It was challenging, but it was fun. I did play with them with my friends at one point. Back in the day, it was awesome. Same thing with Clay Fighter and other fighting games. I think I did play Power Rangers as well, so whatever. Then you move on to years later. I played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on I think it was the 6th and the 7th gaming generation consoles, and they were just bad. They were really bad. And the smash up of the TMT is it was supposed to be like a Super Smash Brothers version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something like that, but it was just bad. And the last game I played was Mutants in Manhattan, made by there was this developer the same developer made Bayonetta and Transformers Devastation or Devastator or whatever that game name it was. It was just like, yeah, it's time for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to put into the video game graveyard and never be dug back up ever again, because they don't know. Cause, like I said, developers don't know what they're doing when it comes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video games. And now, this year, Shredder's Revenge is supposed to come out. The same developers, the same makers who made Streets of Rage 4. I don't want to talk too much, so I'm just going to leave it at that. As far as 2K basketball, it's a series of basketball sports simulation video games developed and released annually since 1999. The premise of each game of the series to emulate the sport of basketball, more specifically the National Basketball Association. The series was originally published by SEGA Sports and is now published by 2K Sports. All the games and franchise have been developed by Visual Concepts. The series consists of 18 main installments, several spin-off style titles. I didn't know. It has seen releases on 18 different platforms. NBA2K series has also been used in esports. Their primary rival is NBA Live by EA Sports. According to wikipedia.org, you can read it and check it out. The first time I played 2K basketball was the Sega Dreamcast with Allen Iverson in NBA 2K, and it was awesome. But I never played online because I didn't know what I was doing, so I just usually play against computer AI. I usually beat up on the computer AI until I bump up the difficulty. I'm like, yeah, it's time for me to come back down and play the easier mode until I get used to it. And I remember playing it when we played NBA 2K7. Yeah, NBA 2K7 and NBA Live 07 while living in the West Coast, which is Las Vegas, Nevada. And it was an NBA All-Star weekend. It was an NBA All-Star Jam session. I remember playing it, and they're totally two different games. One was simulation basketball all the way, and the other, which is NBA Live 07, by far the worst of them all. It was just more arcade than simulation basketball. It was that game was so bad, it got people petitioned for NBA Live to get better. It was that bad. But NBA 2K or 2K basketball games for me didn't get bad until later on. I can't give you a year because I barely played it, because it's annually, it's the same thing. It's a $60, $70 roster update type of video game. Then you throw in the microtransactions, which I will never understand why you need microtransactions in a sports video game in the first place. I mean, sure, you can earn them. You do that. But the problem is you are spending real world money for VC or Visual Concepts coins. Well, the microtransactions. It just doesn't make sense to me. And a lot of people had issues with past couple of 2K basketball games, like NBA 2K20, 2K19. I think it's 2K21 if I'm not mistaken. So I think that NBA 2K needs a rival. They need NBA Live to come back. That way you see a healthy competition, because the way it's going, they're slacking off and fans are not feeling VC. They're not feeling 2K sports at all. So step up, shape up, or ship out. Thanks Thanks for listening. What's your thoughts on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video games and 2K basketball video games, or just basketball video games in general? Salute.